Hello, Space Cadets. This is Commander Ryan. I'm going to be teaching you all how to attack undefended pieces and how to make sure that you don't lose undefended pieces. Whenever a piece is not defended, it is very vulnerable to attack. So, for example, this rook is not defended, but when this bishop moves here, it is now under attack. And if white didn't notice and say moved here, you would lose the rook for free. And that would be very unfortunate. So watch what happens when white does notice. One of the best ways to defend your piece when it is attacked is to make it run away. So here it goes. And look, the rook ran away from here up to the a5 square, and it is now attacking the bishop. So you can run away and attack at the same time. Let's watch the bishop do the same thing. It's under attack, and it's going to run away and attack at the same time. See? And then the rook does the same thing. The bishop does the same thing. And then the rook does the same thing. But this time, black forgets the bishop is under attack and moves the king. And then white takes the bishop because they didn't move the bishop away. So that is the basic idea of what a hanging piece is and how to capture it or how to save your piece by running away. Let's look at a bigger example. So we're going to start here. So here we go. This first knight move, knight to f3. It is attacking the e5 pawn. And as you can see, there is nothing defending the e5 pawn. So, it's black's turn, and their best move is going to be a move that defends that pawn. So they bring their knight out and defend the pawn. If white decides to take that pawn anyway, well, now this knight is an undefended piece. So we could take the knight. And as you know, knights are worth 3 and pawns are worth 1. So this was very good for black. Black was able to capture 3 points and they only lost 1 point. So let's continue. Is this a defended piece or is this knight an undefended piece? What do you think? Is it defended or undefended? For those of you that said it is defended, you would be correct. Because if this bishop were to take the knight, there are 2 pawns that could recapture and take the bishop. You see, both of them can capture. So if both pieces are worth 3 and it's defended, it's okay if they take. It's okay if they take, like this, because they took 3 points from us if we were playing black, and black recaptures 3 points. So that's okay. That's called a fair trade or an even trade, because everything is equal in the end. So now we snuck in this little sneaky move here, right here. So the question I have for you, is the bishop undefended? Is there anything watching over the bishop? For those of you that think the bishop is defended, you would be wrong. For those of you who think the bishop is undefended, you're correct. There is nothing defending this bishop. In fact, look, all of the pieces that could defend anything, that's it. That's the closest they get. You'll see none of them actually touch this bishop. Now, if this queen moved here, she would defend the bishop. But then we have a different problem. The pawn is only worth 1, and the bishop is worth 3. So if they take the bishop and our queen recaptures, white lost 3 points because they lost a bishop and they only captured a pawn, which is 1 point. So that would not be good. So undefended pieces need to be very careful. So white runs away. Is this bishop undefended, and does it need to run away? What do you think? Yes, it is undefended, but it needs to run away because it will be captured if it doesn't. So the bishop successfully runs away. So here's a question. Is this bishop undefended? Is there anything making this bishop safe? If you think the answer is this bishop is undefended, you are correct. You'll notice that the rook moves this way, the knight moves this way, and you can see that, like, if I do circles instead, you can see the knight is not defending the bishop, and the rook is not defending the bishop. We could even look at the queen. The queen can only move these ways, like this, right now. She's not defending the bishop. And this pawn cannot defend sideways. And this pawn cannot defend backwards. So this bishop is undefended. The difference, though, is none of white's pieces can attack this bishop. So while that bishop is undefended, it is safe. Here's some other undefended pieces that might be surprising to you. Look at these rooks. All 3 of those rooks are undefended. However, the queen defends that rook, and this rook defends the queen. So this rook is defended by both the bishop and the queen, but these 3 rooks in the corner have nothing defending them. But all 4 rooks are safe because neither side can capture any of the rooks. Let's keep going just a little bit more. So we have an undefended pawn right here. And white defends the pawn so that if black takes it, we would win a knight for a pawn, and that would be very good for white. So here we go. Bishop moves here. Is this an undefended bishop? Is this undefended? The answer is, it is defended. Because look, the king watches it, the queen watches it, and the knight watches it. That is probably one of the best defended pieces on the board because currently it has 3 friends defending it. All right, now here's a tricky one. Is this pawn undefended? Does white have any pieces watching that pawn on that square? What do you think? This pawn is defended. And look, there's a knight defending it and a queen defending it. There's also a pawn and a knight attacking it. So let's see what happens. All right. Black has won a pawn from white, so black is up 1 point. White has now won a knight, which was 3 points. So white has more points right now. Black just recaptured the knight and is still up a pawn. Uh-oh, we didn't recapture this pawn. Instead, we are attacking this knight. That knight is defended 2 times, But this knight is worth 3 points, and the pawn is only worth 1. So even though this is a defended knight, it needs to run away. So it runs to here, where it is now defended. It is also attacked, but the rook does not want to take the knight because he's worth 5 points, and the knight is only worth 3. So that would be very bad. Instead, white plays queen takes d4. So this pawn was undefended. And queen takes d4. And now black has a sneaky move. Bishop to c5. Is this bishop an undefended piece? What do you think? Take a moment and look at the board. Does black have any pieces that are watching the square the bishop is on? The answer is it is a defended piece because this knight is watching it. So the queen runs away because you don't want to lose your undefended queen to this bishop. And then, is this pawn undefended? What do you think? That pawn is not undefended. It is defended by the king. However, that is only one defender. Black has 2 attackers. If you have more attackers than they have defenders, that's going to be very good for you. So watch what happens. The bishop takes, defended by the knight. And the bishop attacks 2 pieces. So the king runs away to the corner. And now this rook is undefended. So we take it for free. So I hope you have learned a little bit about defense. You have undefended pieces, you have defended pieces, and you have to be very careful when you are looking at your defenses, because sometimes your defended piece is attacked by a low value piece. For example, I'll give you one more example of that. Let's say we bring our knight out to here, and then this happens. Uh-oh, we're attacking the king and the queen at the same time. So the king has to get out of check. And you'll notice that this pawn defends the queen, but this knight takes the queen. So black has taken a queen, and white has taken a knight. The queen was worth 9, and the knight was worth 3. So whenever you are looking at whether or not you have to defend a piece, you have to be very careful about how much the pieces are worth that are capturing. So when you're playing your games today, I want you to try this out. Whenever you're capturing a piece, look to see if it's defended. And every time your opponent makes a move, look to see if they have attacked your pieces. All right, everyone, I have to leave now. I have a mission that I have to go on around the planet Saturn. I will talk to you all when I get back.